Good morning. Welcome back and to a beautiful time period between Pesach and Shavuot. And as always, we dedicate this learning of Torah to our brothers and sisters in Eretz Israel to come back home safely and to be safe and for our peace around the world. Please, God. Um, has everyone got one? Yeah? Okay, great. So we are going to start. I know, I'm sorry this didn't come out in color. I was trying to, but I will have to tell you what color. Michelle will have to tell us what colors it is, and then you could write it on. All right. So we're going to start with, I'm just going to see if I can share screen over here with what we're doing. All right. Can you see that? Can everybody see the screen? Let's see if we can make it a bit bigger. All right, so we're going to start with this sefirot chart, and I actually use this in coaching, to be honest, as you're getting like a mini course here on. I personalize this for everybody. You could personalize it for yourself as we're speaking, and we can just see. This is called like the soul map, and as you can see, there are three intellectual sefirot, and I know the world calls it chakras, but we call it sefirot, and it's points in the body and emanations that's like Hashem. In order to, so we are made up of 10 sefirot. Each human being is made up of 10 sefirot, 3 intellectual and 7 emotional. And so the top 3 would be the 3 like cerebral, and well, actually, sorry, you've got the top keter crown. On top of that is a crown. So that's the top is like our sort of you, the world calls it the halo, your light that surrounds you, your crown. But we call it keter, which is the light of Hashem that surrounds each person. And this from your crown, and that's why like it's interesting. It's like it frames each person as something of divinity, like something, regally, like the keter is the crown, and the malchut at the bottom means king, like dignity and queenship, or so from the top to the bottom, we are framed as in our queen beings, and it's very beautiful. Obviously, king beings, queen beings, whatever gender you find yourself. So speaking to women here, so we're talking about queen beings. Okay, so yeah, I'm just kind of just gonna stay there. So we have the keter, the crown, and then we've got the 3 chachma bina da'at. Exactly, we always remind everyone this is where Chabad got its name from, right? Chachma bina da'at, the first letter of Chet, Bet, and Daled, Chabad, because the first Rebbe of Chabad, the Alter Rebbe, the Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, who wrote the Tanya, even though there were Hasidic masters before that, the Baal Shem Tov was like before him, and then his student, the Magir Mezrich, but they had many, many different types of Hasidut. And then the Alter Rebbe, the Reb Shneur Zalman of Liadi, was the first one who created Chabad Hasidut. And there still are many different types, and we call them Chagat Hasidut, which is the next 3, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet. Can you see the Chet, the Gimel, and the Taf? There's actually 3 different types of, but this is just historic and cultural, etc. But I'll get into the reason why it was called Chabad is because the Rebbe took the concept of the mind can naturally, not just through work, but has a natural ability to rule over the heart. In other words, you can have your emotions in check if your mind is in control. So it takes work. So the whole ethos of Chabad and the whole ethos of the Tanya that he wrote was how to develop focus of the mind so that you can be in control of yourself and of your emotions, which is a lifetime of work. And this is like what we call in the world regulation, like self-regulation. To self-regulate, it's a lifetime of work. It's everyday work, because we have new triggers that come every day, and new levels that Hashem challenges us at, in terms of like once we've conquered level 1, you get whatever staircase you're on. But this is the work to keep our Chabad in as our forefront and allow that to give birth to our emotions rather than the other way. In brackets, why the other Hasidim call their Hasidut Chagat is because they're more emotionally based, and they allow the emotions to be at the forefront. And not to say that Chabad doesn't have emotions and we're not emotionally, we are there's dancing, there's singing, there's love, there's awe, there's a lot of emotion, but it's coming from after the whole aim is that it should come after the control of the mind, which is, as I said, a work in progress for every single human being. And that's what we call the work of the Beinoni. Like we're all striving to be a Beinoni. What's a Beinoni? A self-regulated human being who has their thoughts, words, and actions in control, like under their control, and not being controlled, not controlling them, as opposed to, okay. But these 7 weeks, we actually don't talk about the cerebral side of things. We talk about the emotional side of things. We talk about Chagat Nahim, which is Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. So the 7 emotional spheres, and that's why it's a 7-week program. Starting, it's already a week in because we did the week. It's from Pesach until Shavuot. I will explain last week what the Chesed week is, and I'll explain this week what Gevurah week is. Those are the two, like the mother emotions, like mother father emotions, and they are what give sort of birth to the combination being Tiferet, and then from there stems Netzach, Hod. And then when those 5 are in check, then we start to engage in relationships and bonding, in healthy bonding, which is Yesod. And then we get to a state of Malchut. So the first 6 are like almost active. And the 7th, Malchut, is the result that you get when you are in a good space in yourself, in the 5, in your relationships, the 6th. And then you come into the 7th week in a state of flow, in a state of dignity, in a state of positive, healthy expression. And Malchut is like what comes, it's like how a queen exudes herself to the world, because yeah, go ahead. All right, so are there any questions, any pause for comments before?
Question. Can you just remind me, please, what this has with connection to the Omer?
Okay, so every day, it's a good question. It's an excellent question. Every day, I should have actually introduced with that, so thank you for bringing it up. Every day, we count the Omer from the second night of Pesach until Shavuot. We count 49 days. So we count, this is day 1, this is day 2. So today is actually day 10. So we actually do a mitzvah. Today is day 10, you've done a mitzvah. Today, so you can say today is day 10 of the Omer, which is 1 week. Try to do it the night before. If you haven't done it the whole time, you say it without a bracha. But if you've done it from the beginning, then you say the bracha, which is the blessing, and then you the count. But even if you're just counting, you're part of the counting of. Now, what are we counting? We're counting 49 days until the 50th day when we will receive the Torah. So we're actually mimicking the experience that the Hebrews, the original Jewish nation, when we first walked out of Egypt, we were on a minus 49 level in terms of impurity. We had been, even though the Jewish people were very careful to keep 3 things in Egypt. They were careful to keep, do you know what they are? Their clothes, like their dress. So they stood out like in wearing tzitzit or kippah, whatever it was, or their type of modest dress or whatever it was. Their names, the Hebrew names, they had different names. They didn't have the same And so they stood out by, they were maybe Abraham instead of Ibram or whatever it was. And then there was their names, their dress, and their language. So they had a Hebraic language, whatever that was. Like I think it was ancient Hebrew, but like now it became modernized. So it could be like it was more, more ancient and it evolved. I'm not sure exactly, but it was their language, and
To Yiddish.
closer to Hebrew, actually, to the biblical Hebrew. Yeah, to the language of the Torah, which is Hebrew, which is ancient Hebrew, it's biblical Hebrew. It's not modern day Hebrew, but there is very much a similarity. Once you understand biblical Hebrew, you sort of could understand modern day Hebrew, but there are some differences. Anyway, yeah.
In Aramaic, how does that fit into?
I think it's like a sort of a dialect, similar, but it's not. It's like there are very similar words coming from like some same root words. Like Abraham had two children, Yitzchak and Ishmael, and he gave them a language, and then I think that the dialect continued through them into two different, like depending on their demographics and where they were and how they developed it. But the Jewish people got the language of Hebrew from the Torah, and Aramaic was, like a dialect of that. So it's kind of there are a lot of similarities once, and they can easily interchange. But yeah, it's not the biblical Hebrew. It's not the Torah's Hebrew. But in the Torah, we have something called Onkelos, who is a interpretation of a commentary on the Torah, very, very famous interpretation, who writes in Aramaic, because in those days the Jewish people actually spoke like fluent Aramaic, so that they were like living in Babylon, etc. They were engaging in the same language. So, but in Egypt, I'm sure they like did engage with the Egyptians, etc., ancient Egyptians, but they did keep those three things. Anyway, they were on the lowest level of impurity. They had like victimhood and just being crushed, etc. They just like lost their um they lost their thunder for life, etc. Obviously, the woman kept up as much as possible and kept the nation going, but like they still all had to, and mainly the men had to purify. It does say about the women that they were exceptional in those days and kept the nation going. Like literally, it was credit to the women that the nation was redeemed, and similarly, as reincarnations in this world, in this lifetime, we are reincarnations of the woman of that generation, and we will witness the redemption because of the woman in this generation. So it's really interesting that the woman credit gets given in the Torah from then until now, and it says like בזכות נשים צדקניות נגאלו אבותינו ממצרים, בזכות נשים צדקניות עתידין להיגאל. Because of the righteous women of Egypt, the nation was redeemed, and in Egypt, and because of the righteous women of our generation, the nation will be redeemed. How amazing. And you see like the mothers losing sons and talking out, and like how these things are going on in Israel, and like you could just relate to these righteous women who are keeping the nation going. I'm sure there's very many righteous men as well. So, but it just like it's that's what that's the quote. So sorry, let me just close this and still on here. All right, so now we're going to go into so they had to let me just finish the train of thought there. They had to purify themselves 49 levels. So historically, the Omer were counting up to those levels. By the time they got to the Torah, to Mount Sinai, they were on level, like they were back at base, and they were now ready to receive the Torah. And so in our day is the same thing. We practice refining ourselves every day of these 49 days. And that's why I say it's a self-development course, because it's like it's the Jewish time frame for self-development, these 49 days, self-refinement. And like it's one of the purposes of us coming into this world, to self-refine, to self-refine and then to refine the world through that. So when we self-refine, we refine our families, then we refine our communities, then we refine, and so the ripple effect goes through to the world, and that's how we refine the world. and the way we interact with the world is in a refined manner. So it's not doesn't come simply. Like, I mean, we could just be animalistic and coarse and just, get taken down by society's immoral codes, etc., and like just like harshness, but takes a lot of effort on our part, avoda, like service of Hashem, to keep ourselves refining ourselves despite the world, despite what's around us, despite how people interact with us, etc. So that's the work of, especially in a soul talk group, people who are here. We're aware of the soul work, right? Okay. So now we're going to understand that the imprint on a temple level, they used to sacrifice a karban, an offering. They used to bring an offering every day of barley offering in the Omer, which was the Omer means an offering. So they used to bring this offering, and our offering every day is like the work that we're doing on ourselves. So every day when we say the sefirah, so today, the sefirah, I'm going to explain to you how it works. So the week one, you remember that our mumsies game? Our mumsies, our clapsies, our roll my hand, touch back. So you remember that game? No. Okay, it's just my muscle. Okay, so so there's this cute game. It's just like it's a nice, cute parable for this how it works. So it goes. So if you number chesed number one, and let me show you like chesed number one. Gevura chesed is so and it's in blue. Like you've got the colors, and I'm sorry that you guys have printed out black and white, but okay. Gevura red number two. Across from chesed. Then the next one in the heart space, and you can see it's also like placed where the chakras are in the body, right? And then the heart place, and it's different than the regular chakras that slightly, but this is the Kabbalistic chart. Then Tiferet is the heart space. That's why it's like empathy and it's harmony. I'll get to that, but that's yellow, and that's number 3. Then number 4 is Netzach. Is perseverance and motivation and endurance and the stuff that we need to like get up in the morning, go to work, and get our kids out to school and like just be functioning human beings. And then diametrically across from that is Hod, which is gratitude and humility, which is exact balance that we need to balance the go-gettedness that we have to have in Netzach. So we need to also, sometimes we need to be doing, and then sometimes we need to be and just like stop from doing and just be grateful and be humble and take a pause, that's Hod. And then that's orange in the Hod, and Netzach is purple. And then so it's just number 6 is the green, Yesod, foundation, bonding, and then we go down to brown, Malchut, which is dignity, expression. Okay, and I've just added some thought, speech, action that goes into actually this is credit's not being shown on the screen, but it's credit to my original coach who certified me as Kabbalah coach, Shimona Tsakonik. She did this chart. I just added some notes on the side about the 4 worlds because that's another whole lesson. But anyway, okay, so I just want to say one thing, that the makeup of each human being, it says, Mipsari echazeh Elokim. From my flesh, I envision Hashem. So from my makeup, like how my 10 sefirot, the way that like my brain and body is made up, I can see how the essence of Hashem. In other words, that's how Hashem's makeup is. Hashem has all these sefirot as well, these 10 sefirot with crown, etc., and makes us like mini in the image of Hashem we were created, right? What does it mean in the image of Hashem we were created? And like Hashem's not physical, but these spiritual sefirot, which like actually power the physical body, but are the spiritual force behind the physical body, are the essence of how Hashem is of Hashem. So Hashem is this like spiritual essence of these 10 sefirot, and the father motherboard of the 10 sefirot, which everything comes from. Then created all of us to be like in the image of Hashem. So these little mini potentials were running around. And then the world itself was also created with 10 sefirot. Like the world itself was created with these 10 powers. So so we access the world through ourselves. We can then relate to the world, like the power of chesed in the world, the power of kindness, and the power of discipline, and the power of empathy, and the power of goal setting, and you know, the whole power of business.
So
And
Hashem would be obviously the perfect balance of
ourselves.
Yeah,
We
the
come, we actually come with different strengths and weaknesses into our lives, depending on our past lives, depending on our treasury of souls, depending on what our work of our soul is. And our job in this world, one of our jobs, like one of our purposes of this world, is the balance. Is It's called hitkalalut hamidot, to balance out our emotion, our midot, our emotions. So like if I'm like a very chesed-based person, like I'm giving, I'm generous, I want to give everything. Yes, it's like, and to the point that I can burn out myself, you know what I'm saying? My work in this world is to learn how to balance myself, and sometimes be able to say no, sometimes be able to have discipline, boundaries, etc. And then on the flip side, someone might come into the world who's like very boundaried, very disciplined, very no, like no before yes. Like you get the yes people and the no people. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just very common to see like who's it, you know, and it's not right or wrong. They just have a different source, like someone coming from the source, the source of treasury of souls of chesed, and some are coming from the treasury of souls of gevura. Once you understand this dynamic, you understand that they're both from Hashem. It's not right and wrong. It's just that we all need to balance ourselves out. So the no people have to get a bit more yes, and the yes people have to get a bit more no. And it's not just simple black and white yes and no. It's actually very nuanced, etc. You know, but it's just like you can understand it in very basic terms, right? It's like that's what I work on, like in the soul mapping, like okay, what's going on for you? So when we have a question, which is so interesting, because when something comes up in the world, like like you have a decision to make. For different people, the decision is very different. Like for me, like we can both have the same decision faced in front of us, but our soul journey is different, and therefore our choice needs to be different. You know, for let's say I just got an offer to do this. For me, it's like the Hashem wants you to say no, and for someone else, Hashem wants you to say yes. You know, like so. Isn't it amazing? Like I like expand or contract, like depending. Are you coming from expansion already and you need to contract a little? Are you coming from contraction? You need to expand a little. Like it's a beautiful way of saying it as well. Like so there's many words and beautiful ways we can, but this is the crux of it all, like the mother and father board of it, like chesed and gevurah. Once you understand chesed and gevurah, you understand a lot. And you can see that even like netzach and hod come under that. Like it's like on, you know, directly under it. It's all those five are like very connected, and the heart space, the yellow, is in the middle. So like our heart is in check when we are like balanced in that square around it. See?
I must say, like I remember obviously a lot of this from last year, and ever since you spoke to us about the balance and the everything of chesed and gevurah, often when I'm going through something with a person or whatever, a friend, I'm always like, okay, I'm coming from a place of chesed, I'm coming from a place of gevurah. And I have to like actually ask myself, like what,
Yeah.
you know, because you don't look at it as a bad thing, you don't
Yeah.
look at it as a good thing.
Yeah.
You just got to
just know to acknowledge where it's coming from, you know, like, and I had to learn, like I was very much, you know, my upbringing and my style and my nature, etc., probably my mom's nature, etc., very much same, like very chesed. And like, I mean, even the encouragement of the Rebbe, like, was always like, go do more, go chesed. And there was a lot of me that like had to learn like how to balance that in gevurah. Like I used to think it was bad to say no. Like I used to think it was like, I'm just saying, like that's not what Hashem wants from you. Hashem really wants you to push yourself. Like, and like I'm saying this with caution, because like this is my personal experience, but someone else, if you need to be pushed, be pushed. Do you know what I mean? Like then Hashem's message for you is to be, don't listen to my message for your message, because everyone is different, right? Some people need more netzach and some people need more hod, and we'll go through that in the netzach and hod weeks. But for me, I had to realize they are both from Hashem. And there's Malach Michael the angel of Michael, who comes from the house of Chesed, and there's angel of Gabriel, who comes from the house of Gevurah, and powering both causes for our like forwarding of our soul journey, and will bring us the challenges that we need to like and then we might think like, oh, I'm supposed to go this because that's my natural inclination and like that's what I've been taught, etc. And actually like maybe the answer is that. It's kind of tricky to know when and how. And I'm going to give you the litmus test, which is really interesting in a minute, because I've only learned this like in the last little while, but I'm learning it every day. I'm still learning it. The body keeps the score. So actually the body is if you listen quietly to your body is literally your guide to your soul's journey. So I once heard from a very wise spiritual woman that if you are feeling resentful about doing something, that means it's your body saying, I need balance. I need, not that it's a wrong thing to do, but maybe right now you need balance. And for someone else, they might feel resentful that they haven't done enough. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so depending on what your journey is and what you must listen to your body, and your body will guide you. And it's kind of hard because it has to be within Torah's framework, like in the guiding light of Torah. And I have to say this as a qualifying premise in terms of the body, because sometimes we can listen to the body and we get taken by the animal soul drives and we're like, oh, my body's telling me I must have an affair. Do you know what I'm saying? Like my body's telling me I must, I'm just saying, like, I mean, it could be like, and is your body telling, oh, but I'm listening to my body. Like, I just want to caution us that like, if it's not in the Torah's framework, then it's not then don't listen to your body. You know what I mean? Like then the essence is to crush our Yetzer Hara a little bit and to like refine ourselves a bit, and like, but what I'm talking about in the normal frame of like Chesed and Gevurah decisions in life, like
it is good for you. Like your own affair is not going to be good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can convince yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like people have convinced themselves that like, this person's better for me and my partner's not, and da, 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 da. Like I'm just saying that's an extreme. It's an extreme example. Of course it does, but
you don't think of it
in the moment of I know.
but I'm just
the body, the animal soul can kick in much more than the godly soul. And what I'm saying is I'm cautioning us while I'm saying the body keeps the score. I'm also cautioning us on the animal soul strength versus the divine soul's quiet strength. Do you know what I'm saying? Like loud noise versus quiet reasoning, and guilt/shame is put there in a good place. I mean, we overdo it as Jews, like too much Jewish guilt, like someone the other day says, like someone to a kid, it was like, you're not wearing a kippah, that's why that happened to you. I was like, that's where Jewish guilt starts. Actually, like, but the point is that this is we overdo it, but there is a tiny little bit of like silent guilt or silent shame that kicks in to tell us if we're in as in direction, if we're in like if there's a dichotomy between godly soul and animal soul, or if we're in sync, and we need to be riding in tandem as opposed to against each other.
Because sometimes you can't tell, you justify either way.
Yeah, it's a very good question. It should just be a moment, like it's like it shouldn't last like very long. Like you shouldn't be sitting in guilt. It's like a moment of like it's like a flash. It's just like a flash wave, like a moment of guilt. Then you like hold it. Tell yourself what is that? What's coming to me? Why am I feeling this way? Maybe I'm out of sync. Maybe I should listen to. Let me think about what Hashem wants here. Like go back to like Torah's guidance. Sitting in shame. This means that it's the work of the Yetzer Hara as well. Like, I mean, because we shouldn't, I think it should be just a flash, a guiding light. It's not like and then don't sit in it, because Hashem doesn't want us to sit in it. It's like, we actually every day, and the reason I know this is because every day in our prayers, we say, Hashem, please forgive me And like, so we have a bit of guilt. We're asking for forgiveness. But the minute that we say, thank you, Hashem, for forgiving, you are the one who forgives, we're supposed to move on from that guilt. And that prayer is very short. Like, so we're supposed to like hold it, think about it, ask for it, trust, surrender it over, trust that we've been with the complete intention. 3 times a day, where we might have a flash of that guilt, but then we let it go and we completely trust that Hashem loves us, nurtures us, chooses us again despite our mistakes, despite our like has Ava Rachaman, our Father, our of compassion. You know, it's like real compassion. It's not just like fake compassion. It's like the energy of compassion. Do you know what I mean? In the whole world, like how can that won't hold we guilt and shame and all that kind of stuff, which actually makes us then catapult into like a worse state. So
The inner critic.
yeah, the inner critic.
Yeah,
We got to lose
so
that a
that's
little bit.
never-
Yeah.
no.
I mean, it's there for a moment just to guide us,
Yeah.
but the moments.
Sit with it, it
So
becomes
that-
punishment.
So that's why I say like 3 times a day guiding lights, maybe for 5 seconds for like, and then give it over to Hashem. Like so you get if you get the guiding light, say Hashem, I'm feeling this, and I'm asking you to direct me, and then you gave it over, and Hashem directs you, and you lose it. You know, let it go. Exactly. Easier said than done sometimes, but it's the work of the soul. Yeah.
2 questions. So in the last 2 months, I've had quite a lot of problems down my left arm, and my right, my wrist just gave in. Like heels have come back. Initially, I thought it's mommy wrist. You know, where you're holding your baby and it's all there. So I changed the way I pick her up, and I limited. She's about 14 kgs now. And I stopped rock climbing because I thought I was pushing myself too hard. And I really wanted to get back into the gym. And then I realized that looking at this was like,
Yes.
I'm giving too much here that my body can't handle. I actually need to find balance, like with the strength and the
100%.
So-
So there's actually a woman, Louise Hayes, who speaks about emotional cause of like physical pain and somatic, yeah. And then this is the spiritual energy behind that emotional / physical, but it's all connected. It's all connected. So like I often think to myself when I'm in pain in certain areas, like where's the balance that's needed in my sporadic chart, you know, like yeah. And then like when you have that awareness, it already starts the healing, you know. Yeah, it's just like the body's giving you feedback. It's amazing. What's the other question?
disappeared.
Okay, you'll come back. All right. So last week, so now we've numbered them, right? Now, how do we go through every day? So there's 7 weeks, fine. So like, but it's not that simple. In Michelle's book, I'm just gonna show everybody. There's this beautiful book, and I put it on the Soul Talk as an app. Okay, but it's also a book. It's called The Counting of the Omer, Spiritual Guide, by Rabbi Simon Jacobson. You've got the app on the Soul Talk group, and it goes through day by day what the different I'm going to ask you to read it just now, but what the different days are. Yes, it is correct. So for example, the first day when we first start, it will be Chesed of Chesed, okay, 1.1. The next day is 1.2, right? This will be week 1, day 2. So it will be Gevura of Chesed, because it's always of Chesed the first week, right? The third day, it will be Tiferet of Chesed, and so forth. The fourth day, Netzach of Chesed, Hod of Chesed for the 5th day. The 6th day is Sod of Chesed, and the 7th day, Malchut of Chesed. Now we're in week 2. So we're now on 2.3, because I said we're on day 10. Day 10, which means we're in the 2nd week, and we're on the 3rd day of the 2nd week. So we're in 2.3, right now, today. Tomorrow it'll be 2.4, right? So day 1 of this week was Gevura of Gevura, which is like inner discipline. Okay. Then it's not. Day 1 is Chesed of Gevura. Day 2 is Gevura of Gevura. Day 3 is Tiferet of Gevura, which we're at right now. Okay. And so forth. Like it will continue. Next week, it will be the week of Tiferet, week 3, but it will be Chesed of Tiferet, Gevura of Tiferet, Tiferet of Tiferet. Do you understand? Okay. Everyone with me? Okay. So every day there's a little nuance that's different. There's even a difference. So there's even a difference between Chesed of Gevura and Gevura of Chesed, because they the first week you'll have Gevura of Chesed, and the second week will be Chesed of Gevura. And there's even a difference between there because the focus is different. So the focus of week 1 is on our kindness. So how does our discipline with kindness show up? And then the kindness in discipline show up. You understand the difference? Like it's really a different, like a little bit nuanced. Yeah. So
How demanding.
yeah, it's demanding to be a conscious Jew, a conscious human in the first place is demanding, and conscious Jew is like even more demanding, but also enlightening and
Yeah, it's not a bad
yeah,
thing.
like it's
Constant-
thorough. Yeah, exactly. Constant direction of how to grow. And we don't have to even wonder because it's right there. The energy of the day is given to us, Okay, this is your energy of the day. And remember, in Judaism, when we have a calendar date, that energy comes to the world with like assistance for us to tap into the energy.
Nice way to look at it.
So we are now today, there's a massive energy of Tiferet of Gevura. So I'm going to ask Michelle, who has the book, to read what, like just an idea of how it comes across. Michelle, can I turn the camera to you? Okay, go for it.
Sefirot of Gevura, compassion and discipline. Underlying and driving discipline must not only be love, but also compassion. Love comes from recognizing one's merits and positive qualities, while discipline channels and directs those strengths and weeds out the negative. Compassion is unconditional love. It is love just for the sake of love, not considering the other's position. The ferret is a result of total selflessness in the eyes of, because you are a reflection of God. Does my discipline have this element of compassion? So the exercise for the day is be compassionate to someone you have reproached.
Interesting. So that's what I'm saying. That's because we're in the week of Gevura. Thank you, Michelle. Because we're in the week of Gevura, sorry, I haven't been opening the chat and I see you guys are asking questions. Because we're in the week of Gevura, it's all about discipline. So we've disciplined someone. Now, have you been kind in your discipline? And interesting, my mom-in-law gave a nice twist on the day of Gevura, which is like, you would think it's like harsh discipline, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, she says it's like, it's restraint of discipline. In other words, like discipline of discipline, like even moderation in moderation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like even discipline in discipline. Be disciplined with your discipline, which is so amazing. Like actually, so that's true discipline, because if you just go around disciplining people, like and disciplining yourself, inner critic, you are being highly critical. Then it's not called discipline at all. It's called criticism. So and every one of these sefirot have a negative connotation to it and a positive, right? Like every midah in the world. Like if you discipline can be so positive. It could be like kind chinuch, like education is positive, like a beautiful teacher. Think about a really successful, amazing mom and an amazing teacher. Okay. And they both have really good discipline, but it's kind and it's balanced. And sometimes it needs to be upped a little bit, but it's always in check. Like I'm not saying anyone is always like and psychology says you only have to be a good enough mom. So don't worry if you're not perfect all the time, because as long as you're good enough, your kids will turn out okay, because like, and that's redeeming for everyone, because we also have to be good enough human beings, good enough Jews, and we're never going to be perfect. Like that's the work of us to realize that Hashem created us perfectly imperfect, you know, and we don't think that, because like you can walk out of a self-development workshop and think like, I feel so guilty. I have so much work to do. Like I'm so not there. Like I often have like I've like gotten depressed walking out of a self-development workshop. Like gosh, I've got like not depressed, but like I mean like I'm like it's inspiring, but it's like sometimes like too much, like that demanding feeling, like oh my God, I can't, you know, like this is, and then like it's almost like if it's too much, you like want to throw it all out. So remember, imperfect is the default. Okay, good enough is what we're striving for. We will fail, and it's okay, and we'll pick ourselves up. You know, a tzaddik fails 7 times and keeps like picking himself up. So someone's asking, okay, is this the same as cheshbon nefesh? You asked this earlier. Okay, so, and I'm totally over time. Wow, just been talking. Sorry, guys. It is the same as it's a cheshbon nefesh. It's like, yeah, in a way, like your accounting of the soul. Is it appropriate to do this throughout the year to constantly be doing a thorough accounting of the soul? Yes, we do it every night, a cheshbon nefesh, an accounting of the soul. We kind of like check ourselves every night. But this is the 7 weeks where we like thoroughly look at ourselves, and then we know what to like what our program is for the year, kind of thing. We kind of know, and every year we relook at it because we might have shifted the balance, and maybe there's a new thing to work on and not the old thing. So this is our, yeah, so that's a good question. Thank you. And now we're just going to bring it into our bodies for the last minute, if you don't mind. So everybody just relax, unwind, take a comfortable stance at your chair. If you're sitting, feet on the floor, hands on your thighs in an upward or downward pose. Just close your eyes gently or downward gaze. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And we're just focusing on the breath for now, and every deep breath in for 4 and deep breath out for 6. And as you breathe in, just take in this new, fresh energy of this new, delightful energy that Hashem's bringing to the world. Compassion, love, discipline, healthy discipline for all of us, for those around us. And just breathe out, letting go any overdoing it of restraints or criticism on ourselves or high demands. And breathe in healthy avodah, healthy service of Hashem, in our pace, in our stride, with joy. And breathe out any feelings of inadequacy or feelings of too much or not good enough. Just breathe that out. Breathe in the good enough and breathe out the doubt. Breathe in. Hashem created us exactly as we're supposed to be. Perfectly imperfect. Everyone with a different composition. Your own self, your outlook on yourself, your outlook on others. Everything is designed perfectly. And just breathing in the ability and the courage. Just joy in the service of the soul, with the health of the body and in balance of the body. And just breathing out, letting go. Letting God, breathing in. And letting go. All day. And just have a quiet moment of silence where you just check into yourself with what the balance is needed for today. How's your chesed? How's your gvura? What do we need to up? What do we need to contract. And just gently acknowledging ourselves. And just breathe that in with thanks and gratitude to Hashem for this ability to engage in our soul service. And as you take the deep breath in, just feel your feet on the floor coming out of the meditation. Gently rubbing your hands on your thighs. Opening your eyes and coming back into the space. And just leaving with one word that you're taking with your nugget. Whenever you're ready, if you'd like to share.
It feels so peaceful when I leave here. Just
Peace, sense of peace. Baruch Hashem. That's-
Mine would be to like hand over.
Hands it over.
Keep forgetting.
Give it over. There's a compassionate energy to hold you.
Self-care.
Self-care. Self-care is soul care. And soul care is self-care. All right, guys. Have a beautiful week.
Thank you.
I just need to end this. Stop sharing.